Hi guys, decided to do a little bit of floor cleaning today with the Swiffer. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the floor that I put down in this garage. A couple of different tiles I considered, other products that I considered for the floor, and we'll touch on why I went with this particular floor. This is actually race deck, 12 by 12 tiles, interlocking. So I'll show you a couple of things about these floors. Okay, so a couple years ago, when I decided I wanted to cover my concrete floor with some sort of a covering because it looked disgusting. After 24 years of having cars in here, different types of apparatus that had hydraulic fluids, things would leak and you'd have those kind of fluids staining your floor. Even had ground in rust, and that gets into the concrete. So it was a mess. So when I decided I got to make this look decent, there was epoxies, which are quite popular, doing your floor in epoxy. But from what I've heard, you have got to have that floor immaculate. All the stains, dirt, debris, everything has to be off of that floor, or there's a chance the epoxy could lift after a while or chip. So the effort to put in to get all of that staining out of that concrete, which my floor is about 1,200 square feet, and I say the stains covered about 800 square feet of that. They were everywhere. I decided that wasn't the avenue I wanted to take. Plus the fact that I'd still be walking essentially on concrete. And in the colder climates, that cold concrete, it just gets to you. So I kind of scrapped that idea with the epoxy, looked at other flooring options. They have this rollout vinyl that you can buy. I think it's in various widths and lengths, like 5 foot wide, 10 foot long, or 10 foot wide, 20 foot long. And that stuff runs about $3 a square foot, if I remember right. But then I thought, well, I roll this stuff out, and then I have to get another lineup of that next to the first rollout. So then you've got a seam, and how do you really address that seam to make it look decent? And you know, what prevents after a while curling, or you know, once you go start cleaning it, you get some cleaning fluids on it. I wasn't sure that that was the right avenue for me either. And of course they have the peel and stick tiles. Again, you'd have to have your floor immaculate. It'd be much like epoxy. If it wasn't super clean, you know, those tiles could lift. So I kind of got down to interlocking tiles, and there's many different brands and quality of tiles and of the plastic interlocking type. So I wasn't too concerned. I says, well, you know, I'm just going to be parking cars on this. Why do I have to spend a lot of money? I'll just get some of the cheaper tiles, and you know, you can find them on eBay or whatnot. And it's like, okay, I'm looking at a tile that's maybe $2 a square, you know, 12 by 12 inches, about $2. So I started buying some of those tiles, thinking this is the way I'm going to go. I don't have to get fancy with this. I just need something to cover the floor. So I started buying them every month, like 50 or 100 tiles. You know, I needed over 1,000 tiles, so I said, I'm not going to do it all at once, so I just started buying some. And then I started thinking about the tiles. They came in, I started looking at the construction of them. I said, you know what? I says, I got to test this. So I put like 40 together, and I drove a car up on those tiles, and I said, now I'm going to use my Go-Jacks to see what happens to the tile, and to see how easily I can move the car on the tile. So when I did that, and I had a light car at the time, I had my wife's car, and it was just a Chevy Sonic, weighs less than 3,000 pounds, I started noticing some issues with it. I would jack the car up on the Go Jack and then try to push it around. Then I would take the Go Jack out, back the car out, compare the tile, and I'd say, well, geez, I could almost see some stress marks in the tile. I'll show you what I mean. I got one of these tiles. This is one of the tiles that I'm talking about. I'm going to turn it to the light so you can see the reflection of the tile, the finish of it. It's kind of a flat tile. There's not a lot of sheen to it. And on the back side, I want you to notice and keep in mind the construction of this tile. Wide apart on these supports and thin. There's not a lot of stock here. So what was happening was the car pressure on the front would actually push these ribs up into the front of the tile where you could see a white line of where that rib was. So I knew the tile was on a lot of stress. So then I thought to myself, well, I'm going to be using the Go Jacks a lot in this barn so I can move my cars around. So I didn't want to spend the money, but then I got some samples of a race deck tile. And that's this tile here. And when I hit the light, you can see a huge difference in the sheen of the tile. And when I flip it around, you're going to really see the difference in the construction of the tile. The ribs are much closer together, much thicker than the other tile that I had. So again, I thought, well, I'll get some more samples and try this. So there was quite a difference. I didn't have any type of stress marks on this tile. It's the race deck tile. It's thicker. It's just the construction is so much better than the cheaper tiles. Now granted, these tiles are a lot more money. That's why I didn't initially order them. I think they run around $4 to $5 a tile. This is the diamond shape. They have different styles, many different colors. As you could probably tell when I was swiffering the floor, I've got red, black, and silver. So there's quite a variety that you can pick from. So I decided that's what I'm going to do. I bit the bullet, ordered in the race deck flooring, and I don't regret it one bit. What I did before I put the tiles down, I put it's like a weed preventative fabric down that you use outside, you know, in your garden beds or whatever. I put that down first, and what that did was it quieted the floor down. I tried it both ways, without the fabric and just having the tiles down on the concrete. There's like a click-clack or a clicking noise when you're walking over the tiles, which is much subdued when you have this fabric down first and then put the tiles on. So you might want to keep that in mind if you get these tiles. And it's nice, very comfortable on the feet because I'm not standing right on concrete. The Go Jacks, even though the Go Jacks work the best on pure flat concrete or epoxy covered concrete, there's ever so slight deflection in the tiles when you're cranking up a car that weighs maybe 4,500 pounds. You'll notice that when you go to try to push the car, because it'll be like settled in a little pocket that you can barely discern, that you don't get on pure concrete. But really, for the most part, it's been no issue. I just move the cars around in the garage on the Go Jacks, and I don't really have a problem. So, if you got a condition like me and you're thinking about putting a floor down, you live in a cold climate, or even if you don't live in a cold climate, think about the race deck flooring. You're not going to regret it. It's going to be well worth the extra money versus going with the cheaper tile. If you just have a condition where you just want to park your car, you're not going to do anything else, you're not going to use floor jacks or anything of that nature, then I would say you can get away with the cheaper tile and save yourself quite a bit of money because the race deck is like twice the amount. I think they have a discount. I can't remember because I know I hit a discount. It was over 1,000 tiles, and they do offer a kind of a nice discount. So I was very happy with the product, and you may want to consider that. So all I do now is, once a week, sweep, use the Swiffer, and the floor looks great. And the nice thing too, with all the different colors, you can put any pattern, make any pattern that you want, and it really dresses up your garage. So you may want to consider that in the future. Like I say, there's a few options that I mentioned today, and I'll talk to you later. Okay.